Hey, Chael, Glenn Bell. Chael, I have a touchy subject. Some guys were talking about boxing. That led to a video of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. It showed where Conor gave Floyd some rabbit punches and Floyd was complaining. That led to a video of Conor McGregor and Khabib. Showed where Conor gave an illegal knee on the ground, had his toes in the cage, had his hand in the cage, grabbed Khabib's shorts while on the ground while standing up, grabbed Khabib's gloves. That led to a video of Conor and Dustin Poirier, with Dustin complaining about Conor grabbing the gloves. So almost 3 fights back to back to back where the guys were complaining about Conor cheating. A casual in the group said, "Oh, Conor McGregor's a cheater." Right away I said no. That is not what Conor's known for. He's known as the guy who came to take over, not to take part. I've heard you say many things about Conor. Usually that he'll fight anytime, any place, anywhere, but I've never heard you call him a cheater. Then I started watching more videos on the topic. There's a video titled, "All the Times Conor McGregor Cheated." There's a belief that he almost went 20 seconds with his toes in the cage and went over 20 seconds while holding on to a glove. The Weasel, who breaks down fights, he believes in shows where 13 points were scored in the 3rd round alone while Conor McGregor was cheating. So I thought I'd ask you, Chael, since the narrative is out there. Is Conor McGregor a cheater? Now, I hope the answer is no. But if it is no, I also hope it's not that, well, he cheats all the time. Those guys are right, but he's not a cheater. Because it's just hard to make sense out of that. Or is it? Imagine I'm driving down the road at 75 miles per hour. Speed limit 70. Someone in the back seat says, "You're a cheater. You're going 75. Speed limit 70. I'm probably going to say, "No, I'm not a cheater. This is just how we drive. This is just how we do it." I'm sure Uncle Chael drives the same way. Is it that kind of thing, Chael? Is Conor just doing things that all fighters do, but because he has a bigger name, more visibility, it stands out? Or is he doing things that I would not see a Wonderboy Thompson, a Sam Alvey, a Max Holloway do? When talking about the story of Conor McGregor to a casual, is he the guy that came from Ireland over to the UFC, brought the country with him, already had 2 belts, 2nd round knocked out his 1st belt, 13-second knocked out his 2nd UFC belt, went up 2 weight classes, got a win, came back down to 155, 3-piece and a soda before we even knew what that was, his 3rd UFC belt to become champ, went to boxing, a sport he doesn't do, fought arguably the greatest ever for 28 minutes, came back down to the UFC, did more fighting, red paint tonight for whoever can get it, hard stop. Is that the story, Chael? Because I hope that it is. Or is it more accurate and precise to say all those things, but then add in, and he's a cheater?
Glenn, nice to hear from you. I got to tell you, I really feel like that question was more of semantics, right? You can break a rule without cheating, for sure. Think of basketball. Something less important than combat in terms of the damage, but think about traveling. Traveling is against the rules. You will break the rule. You will even be punished for it. There will even be a foul. It will even be recognized. Are you a cheater? It's one of those hard things. Like, you can make a mistake. You can do an accident. I only share that with you. I don't know what's in Conor's mind. In all fairness, when you're talking about all of those clips, I've seen that same clip. I've seen him hold the glove. I've seen the toes in the cage. It comes down to intent. Breaking a rule and intending ahead of time to break the rule and get away with it is what we largely consider. I haven't looked up the definition, but that's what we all as people, colloquials, would associate with cheating, as opposed to a foul. And, you know, what's in Conor's mind? Look, there's a lot of rules out there, but there's really only 3 big ones, right? You don't hit him blow, you don't bite him, you don't poke him in the eyes. That is basically, as long as you follow that, no fighter is going to think that you're dirty. Like, when you get in the back and you get in the locker room, they're not going to think that you're a dirty guy. Hitting a guy after you hear the bell. And a lot of guys will do that pretending they didn't hear. "Oh, was that the bell? I didn't know." Trying to get a shot. That's a scumbag move. It's one of those things, but they still have the right under the initial premise of protect yourself at all times until the referee steps in, not the horn. Many people wouldn't know that. You'd think, well, I heard the horn. That's not what we're instructed as fighters. That's what you, the audience, are instructed. We are instructed in no uncertain terms before every single event, and make no exception to that. You do not stop for anything except me. I will step in, I will tell you stop, and I will physically touch you. Until I do that, it is game on. I'm only offering you that as an example. I don't think that Conor would go into the criteria of cheating. And the grabbing of the glove, I mean, some of those things are easy to do. Did you know, just by example, you can't grab the shorts either? That's the only piece of fabric that anybody's wearing in a match, but you can't grab the shorts. That's new since commission stepped in. You want to go back to 1993? Guys would wear gis out there, but you could use it. Hoist Gracie could grab his own belt. Guys were, who was that? Chemo grabbed his hair and guy wrapped his right around the ponytail. I'm only sharing for you. There's a lot of rules. And yeah, you want to follow them. And yeah, you want to be up to speed. And as far as your toe going into the cage, that wasn't one. The rule was, and I believe still is till this day, you cannot grab the cage. Now, grab the cage meant to everybody, grab the cage. Had to be done with your hand. Until the first guy came along that hooked a cage with a toe, and a referee goes, wait a minute, that's grabbing the cage. You grabbed it with your toe. Okay, great. That was never the intent, but now that we see it, you're absolutely right, and that is grabbing. So we're all kind of learning as we go. But I have never heard, aside from the very clip that you're talking about, I have never heard a reputation or something surrounding Conor. Or if you're going to fight this guy, you got to be careful. He's a real cheater. I'd love to know what you think, but I think that you agree with me, and I do think, even if it's semantical, we're not going to call it cheating if we're not viewing clearly an intent.